Yeah? Merry Christmas. You might be able to see the tree. You're in the spice rack. I'm soon to be going home for the festive season. My relationship with my family is... It's always been, like, okay. And I know my family watch my videos, so, like, big shout out, hiya! But I just think since the troubles of my teenage years and the kind of things that I put myself through, I, like, was always very closed off from my family. But, like, I've had enough of that! I don't think that's a healthy way to live your life when you have the blessing or like the privilege of being in contact with your family. So I just wanted to kind of do a vlog and just document what it is like to go home for me, you know, just like going back to Somerset and that horrendous bungalow. It's just such a small place in such a sparse county that is just so loaded with meaning for me because it's the only place where we've ever lived. Christmas is a time like saturated with meaning and this whole like pilgrimage to be with family and have this family celebration, and I just want to explore that. Hi. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Yourself,
Fine, thanks. Just a long train journey.
what time do you leave then?
11, so it's only like 3.5 hours, but
Well, is it?
just a bit uncomfy. Christmas time.
Busy on now, is it?
Should I tell you how I do it?
Yes, because I don't know how to do it.
Alexa! Is she listening?
Yeah. Hello.
Play! Okay. Alexa!
Hello.
Play Christmas classics!
Here's a station for Christmas classics music.
Oh!
Classical Christmas from Amazon Music.
It's not. Nothing's happening.
Oh, do you? Oh, I love that!
Ben, look at you.
You've got a better pair of me, Joe.
Oh, I know who it is.
Oh, no.
David Bowie.
That
Go compare, go compare.
Weak transition.
You didn't say the name of the card.
Elton John.
Didn't say the name of the card. What do you mean? On the first one.
The Go Compare
Go
man.
compare, yeah. Okay, now you say it.
Oh, reloading.
Bad.
Baby.
No, go I'm over here.
Where's here?
Wait, hang on. I shall show myself.
Can you shoot? Okay, I got you now. Hiya. What's that? What? Christmas effects. What's queer? Here's one train of thought about it. The depressing thing about the Christmas season, isn't it, is that it's the time when all institutions are speaking with one voice. The church says what the church says, but the state says the same thing. Maybe, and in some ways it hardly matters, not in the language of theology, but in the language the state talks. Legal holidays, long school hiatus, special postage stamps and all. And the language of commerce more than chimes in, as consumer purchasing is organised ever more narrowly around the final weeks of the calendar year. The thing hasn't, finally, so much to do with propaganda for Christianity as with propaganda for Christmas itself. They all, religion, state, capital, ideology, domesticity, and the discourses of power and legitimacy, line up with each other so neatly once a year? What if, instead, there were a practice of valuing the ways in which meanings and institutions can be at loose ends with each other? What if the richest junctures weren't the ones where everything means the same thing? If these things do so miraculously line up and complement each other, what alternatives get lost in that kind of really dense, cultured mess of agreement, the conversations that we often have around Christmas time, specifically with reference to like our queer community, is like people who aren't out at Christmas and what a tough time it is, or returning to family, or having to deal with severed breaks with family, and this kind of really hard relationship that a lot of queer people have with the nuclear family, and all of its lined up complementary ideas that are conceived of you as soon as you're born. This assumed cohesion of the family and this fictional perfect idea of a Christmas is so nuclear, so commonplace, and therefore really powerful in the way that it excludes any other narrative. Oh my god, my mum! Slice it?
Yeah, you're meant to be able to slice it like a cheesecake. Because it's a cheese.
Welcome to Driving in Somerset, everyone. Or might I just say, hey! The time now is 4:30. I arrived here in a more remote part of the Somerset countryside at 11 o'clock because I was getting brunch with my best friend, Tilda. Christmas is this time when you can almost guarantee that everyone is at home, no matter how far-flung your friends might be. This house is the one place where I can do that really typical thing of just walking through their back door and without announcing myself and just being like, "Aya!" because you're so close. There was a time when I was so scared about coming out to my family, or just the generally fraught relationship that I had with my parents, that they told me in no uncertain terms that I would always be welcome at their house. And I really do like see Tilda's family as like a wonderful like cushion for when I'm at home. So, I haven't hated it. I thought that being home for a week, because it was 7 days in the end, ish, I think, maybe, would be really, really hard. And it wasn't. I thought coming home, as always, because this has been the proven track record, would bring back all of these horrible feelings, especially at Christmas time. And it hasn't. And for me, that's like a really lovely way to kind of start the next year. One of my resolutions is that I want to kind of get much closer to my family again, because for a long time I was pushing for distance and like pushing for independence. I don't know, I feel really like warm about this experience. I'm not going to say it was like the best time of my life, because it wasn't. I'm pleasantly surprised with how I've weathered this. I'm also very aware that like for all of the dramatising that I've done this season, being like, oh, this is such a big deal for me, that a lot of people have it a lot worse. There are a lot of people who don't have any relationship with their family, whereas I do. And there are people that have openly hostile families, which I do not. And I think that this process has actually been more introspective, like more of a reflection on myself than I had considered, and I already thought it was going to be that kind of process. I think that my relationship with my family has always been better than I have acknowledged. And I think that's just something that I have to bear in mind going forward. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a nice little experience, hasn't it? Documenting this.